over the past month, Just Stop Oil's protests have been making headlines as they've been blocking roads, spraying paint and supergluing themselves to artwork. Well, we've seen frustrated members of the public dragging protesters out of the roads, and now the Met Police have issued a statement acknowledging the disruption and saying that up to 200 officers a day are being diverted to the protesters from their crime-fighting duties. So what's the answer? Well, GBNews reporter Theo Chikomba has been in the middle of a demonstration today, and we can find out from him. Theo, tell us what's going on.
Yes, good afternoon. Here in East London, apologies, a fire truck is just going past, so we'll give it a few seconds. But we have been here since around midday, just when the protest was starting. So just behind me, just over my right shoulder, this is a junction, a four-way junction, and protesters were sitting on the floor on both sides, and all of them were saying they wanted to take action. Now, just in terms of why they were here, their demand is that they want the UK government to make a statement that will stop the licensing and consent for exploration, development and production of fossil fuels in the UK. Well, that might be well and good, but lots of members of the public who were here were asking why. They were frustrated. But I did speak to some of those who were on the floor here protesting, and this is what they had to say.
Carbon emissions are now at such a dangerous level. We are just a tiny fraction away from irreversible climate change. And irreversible climate change, means there's nothing we're going to be able to do. We've got hit tipping points, which will create even more momentum to take us into a dangerous, very dangerous situation.
We figure that this sort of action is the only way to effect real change. I personally feel, and I think a lot of us do, that democracy is a sham.
I'm here because our nature is in desperate trouble. Our rivers are sewers. That's a crime. That's really a crime. I'm here because our government plans to put more poison into the air when we're already poisoned.
So the protesters were here for just over an hour, and just during that time it started to build up. People were coming to find out what exactly they were doing, and you could sense there was frustration here. Some people shouting at them saying you are wasting police time, they could be out doing other things, but they were adamant. They stayed on the floor. Some of them were glued together with a steel pipe, and the police had to bring in some instruments to let them go. And this is what the Met Police were saying just across this weekend. They were saying actions by Just Stop Oil have caused significant disruption and frustration among the public in London, and as we saw that here today in the last hour or so. The road has now opened, but as you mentioned before, this is not the first one. They have been doing this for the last couple of weeks, and I believe tomorrow is the last day they'll be taking action this month. And we saw some of the traffic they caused just on the Dartford crossing just a couple of weeks ago, where the traffic was halted for almost 3 days as those protesters hung themselves on there. But today here in East London, they did cause traffic on this four-way junction, and it probably isn't the last one, but it's been very busy here, and the roads are open, and the public are sort of happy that this is sort of over for now, at least.
Theo, thank you very much indeed for that. That was GB News reporter Theo Chikomba.